your homes. So yesterday we have started the reading of lesson number 3 geography from your books, that is motions of earth. And what we have learned yesterday is we have learned about what is rotation, the effects of rotation, then we have learned the circle of illumination, we have also learned the duration of days and nights. So today we are going to read about what? We will study about revolution of earth, then we will study about its effects, what it causes, seasons, we have already learned that. Then after that we will be studying about aphelion and perihelion, that is the distance of sun from the earth. Then after that we will be studying about the solstices and equinoxes. We have already done that. Equinoxes. The 2 equinoxes and the 2 solstices that we have done, will be studying about that, right? So let's start today. Okay. So we'll start with the revolution of earth. You can open your books on page number 130. Just keep on marking the objective question that can be asked from the paragraph apart from the lengthy ones. Only the lengthy ones can be asked. Many questions are lengthy only from this chapter. So only few objectives are there. So let's mark them. While rotating on its axis, I am reading on the right hand side revolution of the earth. So let's start. While rotating on its axis, the earth also revolves around the sun. Please underline. This motion of the earth is known as revolution. So we all know what is revolution. That earth, it rotates not only on its own axis, but it rotates around the sun, and that is known as revolution. And how much time is taken? It takes 1 year, that is 365 days to complete one revolution. The time taken by the earth, please underline, to complete one revolution, objective question can be there, around the sun comprises 1 year. So how much time? 1 year. Therefore, revolution of the earth is also known as annual motion. So what is another name for it? It is annual motion. And what is another name for rotation of earth? That is earth day, right? Because it takes only 24 hours or 1 day. So here it is annual. Annual means 12 months. Annual motion. Another important objective question. The earth takes 365 days, please underline, exact time, 5 hours, 48 minutes and 56 seconds to complete one revolution around the sun. So how much time is actually taken by the earth to complete one revolution around the sun is this much. You need to underline and you need to learn. But for our convenience, we count only 365 days in a year. So we all know that for our convenience, we take it as only 365 days. So what happens to the other half, 365 and a half years, that is the one half that is left out. So it is included, that is in the leap year, that is in the month of February. So we'll read that. But the balance of the remaining 6 hours is adjusted as one extra day every 4th year, which is added to the month of February of that particular year. Therefore, every 4th year, February has 29 days and that year has 366 days. So one day is included extra in that month after every 4 years, and in the month of February, so it makes it 29 days, and that year is known as leap year, and it comes after every 4 years. So it has 366 days in that year. Such a year is called leap year. So what is leap year? Again an important question. What is leap year? The year in which the days, number of days is 366, that is a leap year. The extra day in the month of February is a leap day. So now the Therefore, every 4th year, February has 29 days and that year has 366 days. So, after every 4 years, we have a leap year, and in the month of February, Instead of 28 days, we have 29 days. And the total days in the year, it is 366 instead of 365. So such a year is known as leap year. Again an important question, what is leap year? So the extra day in the month of February is known as a leap day. So this much you need to underline. Then there are two multiple choice questions. The earth takes about dash hours to complete one rotation. How many hours? 30 hours, 20 hours or 24 hours. How many hours are there in a day? We have already done it takes one day. So it means 24 hours. So it is option number B according to your book. It is also called annual motion. What is called annual motion? Rotation, aphelion or revolution. Just now we have done. Since it takes 365 days, so it is known as annual motion and it is in revolution of Earth. So the second option, B option is the correct answer, that is revolution, which is also known as annual motion. Right. So now let's study about the effects of revolution. The revolution of the earth around the sun directly or indirectly affects the life of the earth and causes various natural phenomena. What type of natural phenomena? Different effects of the earth revolutions are difference in the duration of day and night. So difference in the duration of day and night. Days are long, nights are short and vice versa. It is due to the revolution. Difference in the distribution of heat over the surface of the earth. And then the difference in the heat, that is heat zones, we have already studied. So there is variation in the distribution of heat on the earth and that is also the result of revolution. And the third one and the important one is in the change of seasons. So it causes a cycle of seasons. We have how many seasons total? 4 seasons. Winter, summer, spring, autumn season. So all these 4 seasons are the result of what? Nothing but revolution of the earth around the sun. Okay, then there are two important terms, aphelion and perihelion. You all know them. So it is an again question that is there. The earth revolves around the sun along a fixed path called orbit. So what is orbit? Again an important question in this 1 mark question. What is orbit? When the earth revolves around the sun along a fixed path, so that fixed path is known as orbit. The length of the earth's orbit is, please underline, objective question, 938 million kilometers. So this is the length of the orbit. The shape of the orbit is not around, it is elliptical or oval like an ellipse. Again an important question, what is the shape of orbit? It's not round, it is oval like an egg, right? So therefore it is also known as ellipse and that is why it is known as ellipse. Since the orbit is elliptical and the sun is located at one focus of the ellipse, the distance between the earth and the sun changes throughout the year. And that is why, because of this elliptical shape of the orbit, then the distance between the earth and the sun, it keeps on changing throughout the year. The earth, while moving around the sun in its orbit, comes nearer to the sun, and when the earth comes nearer to the sun, at this point the distance between the earth and the sun is minimum. So what is the distance when the earth comes nearer to the sun? Please underline, it is an objective question. You can be asked about the distance. So it is, how much is the distance between the earth and the sun when it is near to the sun? It is minimum distance, and what it is? 146 million kilometers, please underline. And we say that the earth is perihelion. So we say that the earth is in its perihelion position, and the perihelion word, it is a combination of two words I have already told you in my video. Peri means near and helios means sun. So this happens on which day? It happens on January 4 of every year, where the distance between the sun and the earth is the minimum. How much? It is 146 million kilometers. So you need to mention the day also. So it is important objective question. When does it happen? When is earth in its perihelion position? It is on 4th of January every year it happens. So when the sun and the earth, they have the minimum distance when the earth comes near the sun. It is the position of perihelion, and it is a combination of two words in which peri, you can be asked the meaning of perihelion. Peri means near and helios means sun, right? So this much you need to mention. Similarly, during revolution, when the earth reaches to a point in its orbit where the distance between the earth and sun is the maximum. Now when the distance between the earth and the sun is maximum, that position is known as aphelion. And aphelion, again, it is a combination of two words. Aphi means far and helios again means sun. So when the sun is far away from the earth, so that state is known as aphelion. And please underline the distance. How much is the distance as compared to perihelion? So it is 151 million kilometers. So this is aphelion, and aphi, please underline, it means away, and helios again means sun. And which is the day on which it happens? It is July 4 of every year, just the last month. So 1 month ago it was a position of aphelion when there was a maximum distance between the sun and the earth, and it was about 151 million kilometers. So this is something about aphelion and perihelion. I hope you have understood. During every complete revolution, the distance between the earth and the sun varies only by about 3%. Therefore, the average distance between the earth and the sun is about, now one important again objective question, what is the average distance that if we calculate about the sun and the earth, between the sun and the earth, please underline, it is 148.5 million kilometers. So this is the average distance if we talk of between the sun and the earth. So you need to learn it. Then two more objective questions are there. The point in the earth's orbit where the distance between the earth and the sun is minimum, it is called perihelion, equinox or aphelion. So just now we have done the distance when it is minimum between the sun and the earth, it is known as perihelion. So this is option number A according to your book. And then the shape of the earth's orbit, it is round, straight or elliptical. So just now we have done the shape of the orbit is elliptical. So it is option number C according to your book, just like a oval, like an egg. Okay. Then you have something about the cycle of seasons that I was talking of, 4 seasons. The earth completes one revolution around the sun in 1 year, which is divided into 5 seasons. We have divided into 5 seasons. Basically there are 4. Spring, summer, autumn, winter and monsoon season also, that is rainy season also they have included, which is going on right now. So they have taken it as 5 seasons. So now see, the cycle of seasons is caused due to, please underline why it is caused, the cycle of seasons, why is there change in season, and it is a gap of 3 months in every season. And why it happens? Underline, it is due to the inclination of the earth's axis at a fixed angle and direction. Since the inclination of the earth's axis is fixed, and that is why it happens that there is a change of seasons. The revolution of earth around the sun, obviously we know that is another cause of the change in the cycle of seasons. So the picture given below shows the movement of the earth around the sun and the position of the earth on 4 selected days. So we have already discussed the dates of solstices, and we all know when does equinoxes happen. So they have mentioned you the 4 dates. Please learn and underline them nicely. So 21st March, then you have 21st June, then 23rd September and 22nd December. So these are the 2 equinoxes, that is 21st March and then 23rd September. These are the 2 states of equinoxes when the days and the nights are equal at the equator, we have already learned. And then 2 solstices are there. It happens on 21st June and on 22nd December, when in the northern hemisphere there is longer days, shorter nights, whereas in the southern hemisphere in the month of December the nights will be long and the days will be short. right? So we'll study in detail. But then there can be a separate question on what is summer solstice, what is winter solstice, what is spring solstice, and what is autumn solstice. So this way you can have a separate question, maybe for 2 marks, maybe for 3 marks, right? So you need to learn them independently also. So let's read. The day on which the midday sun shines vertically overhead the Tropic of Cancer or the Tropic of Capricorn, and the duration of the day is the longest in the hemisphere, is called solstice. So now what is solstice? We all know that it is the day, please underline and learn, the day on which the sun shines vertically. The rays of the sun are falling vertically like this on the tropic, this is our equator, on the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. This is Cancer, this is Capricorn, this is Arctic Circle, this is Antarctic Circle, and here we have tilted axis, this is North Pole and this is South Pole. So this way the sun's rays are falling vertically on the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, right? And the duration of the day is longest in the hemisphere, since the maximum amount of rain, sun's rays is consumed by these two tropics. So that is why the days will be longer here, right? And this is known as solstices. The position 2 and 4 of the earth are solstices. So this is position number 2 and this is position number 4, as we have discussed, that is 21st June and 22nd of December, right? So in the December we'll be having winters, while in the June we'll be having summers, and then the vice versa when the earth will be rotating. Okay. So what is now summer solstice? Let's see. And what are equinoxes? The day on which the midday sun shines vertically overhead the equator and the duration of the day and night is equal is known as equinox. So what is equinox? As the name suggests, equi means equal. So when the days and the nights are equal at the equator due to the vertical rays that are falling on the equator. So when the rays of the sun are falling vertically on the equator, then the nights and days will be equal at the equator, and this happens twice in a year. So that state is known as equinox. Please underline. So sun shines vertically overhead at the equator and the duration of the day and night here is equal. The positions 1 and 3 are equinoxes. So we have already learned that is 21st March and 23rd September we have the two equinoxes in a year. So now something about summer solstices. On 21st June, the northern hemisphere experiences the longest day and the shortest night. So I have already told you it always goes vice versa. When the nights are long, then the days are short, and when the days are short, the nights are long. So in the summer solstice, what are long and what are short? The days are longer and the nights are shorter. You might have heard from your grandparents, गर्मियों में दिन लंबे होते हैं और रातें छोटी होती हैं, जबकि सर्दियों में रातें लंबी होती हैं और दिन छोटे होते हैं, है ना? The position of the earth on 21st June is known as the summer solstices. Please underline. So the position of the earth on 21st of June is known as summer solstices because it is summer in the northern hemisphere, whereas in the southern hemisphere it will be winters, and 21st June is the day on which the day is the longest. सबसे बड़ा दिन हमारा कौन सा माना जाता है? 21st June, right? In this position, the north pole is inclined towards the sun. Why? Because the north pole is tilted towards the sun. So here this north pole, it is tilted towards the sun, and that is why we have here summer solstices. The sun rays fall vertically on the Tropic of Cancer, therefore places in the northern hemisphere experiences summer season. So the sun rays are falling directly on the Tropic of Cancer, and that is why there is summer in the northern hemisphere. During the time The conditions are just the reverse in the southern hemisphere, we all have learned. It is turned away from the sun. When the north pole is tilted, obviously the southern pole will be away from the sun. Therefore, it receives slanting rays. We have already learned in the previous chapter also that it will receive the slanting rays of the sun, which is tilted away from the sun. The duration of daylight is short and it is winter season in the southern hemisphere. So, in the southern hemisphere, it will be winter. So, here in this southern hemisphere, it will be winters. It will be darkness. The days will be short and the nights will be long. Then something about winter solstices, that is on 22nd of December. Places in the southern hemisphere experiences the longest day and the shortest night on 22nd December. So winter solstice में क्या होता है, रातें छोटी होती हैं और दिन छोटे होते हैं और रातें बड़ी होती हैं. So the sun rays fall vertically over the Tropic of Capricorn. Therefore, it is summer season in the southern hemisphere. So when the sun rays fall vertically on this hemisphere in the southern hemisphere, then it is summer season because the direct rays of the sun are falling now in the southern hemisphere. At the same time, it is just the opposite in the northern hemisphere, which is turned away from the sun. So when one hemisphere is tilted towards the sun, obviously the other will be away, and now if the southern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun, then the north hemisphere will be away from the sun. It receives slanting rays, then it will receive slanting rays. If one hemisphere is receiving the vertical rays, then the other will be receiving the slanting rays like this of the sun. Therefore, the days are short and the nights will be long. Hence, it is winter season in the northern hemisphere. So, when we have shorter days and longer nights than what we have winter season in the northern hemisphere. So, this was something about the solstices. Now, coming to spring and autumn equinox. So, that is on 21st March and 23rd of September. Now, observe the positions of the earth in the given picture on 21st March. This is known as spring equinox. So, this is what it is, spring equinox, that is on 21st of March, and we all know it is the day when the onset of spring begins. Okay, so we see that sun shines vertically over the equator. At this position, neither of the poles are tilted toward the sun. So north pole and the south pole, they are not at all tilted, but then the sun rays fall vertically on the equator. So direct rays of the sun are falling on the equator. They lie at an equal distance from the sun. It results in equal days and nights at all places on the earth. During this period, the northern hemisphere experiences spring season while it is autumn season in the southern hemisphere. So when it is spring in the northern hemisphere, it is autumn in the southern hemisphere, and when it is opposite, that is when it is autumn in the northern hemisphere, then it is spring season in the southern hemisphere. So similarly, on 23rd September, which is also known as autumnal equinox, the sun shines vertically over the equator. Here also, in the month of September, when it is autumn equinox, the sun shines vertically again at the equator. This results in equal days and nights all over the earth. During this day, the northern hemisphere has autumn while the southern hemisphere experiences the spring season. So now it is the vice versa. When it is spring in the southern, then it is autumn in the northern hemisphere, and it is opposite. So this is something about equinoxes. Next, coming to the multiple choice questions now. The places on the earth where days and nights are of 6 months duration are the places on the earth where days and nights are of 6 months duration are the equator, Greenwich, or at the poles. So it is option number B, that is poles according to your book. So it is equal nights and equal days at the poles, 6 months duration. The places upon the earth where days and nights are of equal length throughout the year are on the equator. So on the poles it is 6 months duration, and on the earth where days and nights are equal throughout the year, that is on equator. That is again option number B according to your book, no tropic, no frizz zone. So it is at the equator throughout the year that the days and nights are equal because the sun rays are falling vertically at the equator. So I hope you have understood this chapter. Then we have some multiple choice questions and fill in the blanks along with true and false. So let's come to bookwork now. The longest day in the southern hemisphere occurs on. So now the longest day in the southern hemisphere, when it will be? It is on 24th of November? No. It is on 22nd of December or it is on 14th of June. So longest day in the southern hemisphere we have done, it is on 22nd of December when there is summer solstices in the southern hemisphere. So let's come to bookwork now. This is multiple choice question. It's on page number 134. Exercise number A, coming to first one. So it is option number B according to your book. Next one, the position of the earth in its orbit on 21st June and 22nd December is called aphelion, rotation or solstices. So we have done that on 21st June and 22nd December we have the two solstices, that the summer solstice and the winter solstice. So it is solstices and this is option number C according to your books. Next, coming to fill in the blanks. Let's see the fill-ups now. So first one, a leap year has how many days? It is 29 days, right? I hope you all know it, and it is only after 4 years that we have leap year. Okay, the revolution of the earth causes the cycle of seasons or the rotation causes? So it is cycle of seasons with the revolution of the earth. So it is revolution. Coming to exercise, fill up number 3. The path along which the earth revolves around the sun is called its orbit. Right. Next one, Dash proved that the earth spins on its own axis. Who proved that? We have done that. That is Nicolaus Copernicus, right? He proved that earth rotates on its own axis along with the rotation around the sun, and it is not the earth that is fixed, but it is the sun that is fixed. So it was the Copernican theory, you can say. Okay, coming to true and false. So let's learn about which is true and which is false. So let's do the bookwork based on this now. So you can note down the answers in your books with your pencils. Coming to the first one now. The revolution of the earth around the sun causes variation in the duration of days and nights. Is it? No. It is the rotation which causes days and nights. So it is false. Coming to the second one. Throughout the year, the duration of day and night is equal at the equator. Yes, true. So throughout the year, the duration of day and night is equal at the equator. We have done that. Okay. The earth revolves around the sun from east to west. Does it move from east to west? No, it moves from west to east. So it is false. Whereas sun and the all planets, they revolve from east to west. The earth's orbit around the sun is completely round. Is it round in shape? No, it is elliptical in shape. You can say just like an egg. It is oval in shape. So it is false. Okay. Then you have some more multiple choice questions on the same page under exercise A. So let's do that. The position of the earth on 21st June is called summer solstice, winter solstice or autumn equinox. So on 21st June, I have already told you it is the longest day and that is why it is summer there. So it is known as summer solstices. So that is option number A according to your books. Then the position of the earth in its orbit on 21st March and 23rd September is known as tropics. solstices or equinoxes. So we all know that we have two equinoxes on 21st March and 23rd September. So again it is option number C according to your books, equinoxes. So with this we finish the book work. Then some questions are there, we have to do them in the notebook. Along with that, differentiate is there, that also you need to do. Short and long questions, PDF file, it has been uploaded on the Google Classroom, so you can note down them in the fair notebook. Then one activity is there. So what you have to do is this, you have to do it in the book itself. So what is that? Record the time of sunrise and sunset of your city for 10 days and observe the variation. So this you have to do. And after completing it, after 10 days you have to click the pic and send it to me so that I can check your activity. So what you will do, time of sunrise and time of sunset, then you will note it down for 10 days in this columns. So this activity you need to do as your homework. So I mention here activity as your homework to be done in the book on page number 135, right? So this is your homework for today along with the question answers. And I hope you have completed the book work along with me and you have understood the chapter. So next we'll take up chapter number 4 from your geography only, that is maps and globes. So we'll be studying about the types of maps that we have. 3 types of maps: physical, political and thematic map. So apart from that, we'll be studying about directions, sketches, plans. So this is all there in your syllabus in lesson number 4 of geography. So we'll be taking that. And Monday we have live class. So I'll be asking you some questions based on this chapter. So be ready for that. So that's all for today. Stay safe, stay home.